y'all, I'm Hope here at Crafty Hope and welcome. It is week, oh my goodness, week 12 I think. Yes, week 12 of the Jessie James Beads Summer Bead Blast Design Challenge. Now as a Jessie James Beads Design Ambassador, first off, they send me a beautiful array of beads often that I get to design from, and I was given the opportunity to have 3 weeks that I am going to design as part of this challenge. But I'm going to tell y'all, I've designed so far for every week of this challenge. It's been a great way to get inspired and keep creating even when I'm not feeling inspired. I love that about challenges. So week 12 is put a ring on it, which means, you know, use a ring in some way. Either make a ring or incorporate like a ring of some kind into one of your designs for the week. Pretty easy. Now I have thought about this a little bit and I actually got inspired by another piece of jewelry that I have made before. So I thought I'm going to do that, but let me pull out some of my beads and see what I've got. And I realized they have gifted me with a beautiful array of different green beads. So I think I'm going to lean into that. Now the main one I think I'm going to pull from is the Color Classic bead strand in Saints Green. But I also have the Pantone 2023 bead pearl bead strand in Classic Green. I have the Beads by the Dozen Secrets of the Forest. I love this one. I have this bead strand, which I believe is called Midnight Green. I don't know if you can buy it individually anymore. And then I've got this Rainforest mix. So, but like I said, the main one is that Saints Green one that I think I'm going to start with. I really like these that have the green and white on them. And I also found a couple of these poofy gold beads in my stash. So I think I'm going to pull all of those together into a design. So let me get myself situated and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've given myself a little more room here on my bead mat, and I've got some 22 gauge wire here. So I'm going to get off, a good healthy portion of it. Let me see how much I'm probably going to end up cutting off too much. Let me see what I think I want. I think we're gonna go about here. Okay, and that is, probably almost a foot of wire. So what I want to do is slide excuse me, slide on my beads, and I'm going to do green, gold, green, gold, and green. All right, y'all, and guess what we're gonna do now? We're gonna make a ring. So what I want to do this is I want to secure these beads on this. So I'm going to take one end of this wire, I can get them to stay in one place, and go back through all of these beads so that they have had a pass through twice. Now that's difficult with these poofy ones because they are hollow, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm just gonna make sure I get all of them on there. Okay, so from there I am going to make sure I try to pull both of these lengths down and around. So I want to form this kind of into a ring. I think that's a little bit smaller than I actually need. I want it a bit bigger. So I'm going to continue to, and I think I actually cut my wire too short, yo. Okay, I think we can, well, can we? I'm thinking, y'all. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. I'm going to see if we can do this. If not, as always, we can fix this. So I'm going to get these 2 strands of wire as close as I can to one another. And we've got, you know, fairly, it's a ring. It's not going to be the most perfect thing. And where it crosses up here, I'm going to bend one of them up. I'm trying to get the longer one to bend up. And I'm going to find some flat nose pliers that I can kind of hold all of this together with. Hopefully everything's wanting to be. So I've got a little more wire than I thought I did. Okay, bend one up, and the shorter one I'm just going to wrap around real quick, trying to just secure that in place. It's going to be fiddly. Oh, it's going to be fiddly. All right. All right. So I have that wrapped around one of them. I'm going to take that longer one that's pointing up, and I'm going to just wrap it under, and that's going to hold one of those wires, that one that's kind of twisted around in place. I'm going to actually just do that 2 times. All right, so all of that is a little more secure for us to kind of futz with, so we can shape things and move things around. All right, and that one that's still sticking up, we'll wrap it around one more time. There we go, and then we will trim it down. Oh, I think we will. Oh. This is a fly by the seat of my pants kind of design. It's something I've been thinking about, but I haven't really practiced. And that's how I design most everything, is I just kind of go for it. All right, now I want to make a loop here, and I do prefer a wrap loop. So I have bent that longer one down, and then I'm going to take my round nose pliers and bring that up and around. And then that tail there, we will wrap. I do have a tutorial on making wrap loops if you need a more concise picture of that. All right. Trying to get that last little bit around. Actually, I prefer my larger round nose pliers to do that. All right. Just trying to get that last little bit. Now, if I were you, I would cut more wire. So you wouldn't have to be as fiddly as I'm having to be with this. All right, so I am pretty happy with that. We've got a ring of wire here. I'm just trying to match all of this up, get everything kind of situated. Here we go, and that's looking pretty awesome. Now the reason I did the double loop is that's going to keep it a little more secure. A single loop would get kind of floppy and misshapen, and this isn't really going to do that. You just have to kind of get past the fact that they're going to gape in some areas. Now you can wrap some wire around it later, and I might do that, but for now we're going to work with this ring. Now that my ring has been made, I kind of want to pick through a couple of the other things, and I have picked through a little bit of it, of things I want to add, because I want to add some dangles hanging off this, because this is going to be a pendant. So I have pulled out, I've got a couple little gold pieces from some chain reaction that are here. I've got a charm from I think a magical mystery bead box. There's some of this enamel chain with the white on it that I love. This little bead I believe came out of this lemon yellow sun bead mix, and then I've got another little gold bead that came, I'm not even sure, there's so many amazing things. So I'm gonna kind of play with this and figure out how I want to arrange this, because I want this to be kind of asymmetrical and just kind of a fun little piece. So I may let y'all watch me kind of move these things around as I work on this design. this is about what I do. So I'm going to use a combination of like jump rings and head pins and wire to work my way through this. Again, I will speed this up and kind of talk you through what I've done. And yeah, this should be interesting.
This really was super simple. I had a, what do you call it? A knotted head pin. It's something I've learned to make. Already sitting on my desk, made out of that same 22 gauge wire. And it was perfect because that square bead that I had has a larger hole, and those knotted head pins have a larger base to them. So I slid that cube bead on, and then before I finished my loop on it, slipped it onto that enamel chain. And I decided to slip it on the bottom point of that enamel chain. And then I'm going to finish this little wrapped loop. Simple, simple. Not a big deal to do that. So I'll make that wrap loop and make sure I tuck my tail. And then I will use, what am I going to use? I think I have a baggie that's got ball end head pins, regular head pins, and eye pins in it. So I just pull out an eye pin, open it up, slip on that chain, and then I'll put on that pearl that I've got there, just like that, and then I will make a wrapped loop at the top of it. So if you'll see, I didn't explain my thinking when I made these dangles, but really I was trying to make sure that each one of them had a bit of gold and a bit of green, and that like where the green was, it was like gold or white next to it, and where the gold was, it was, and where the, yeah, just so that like at the top of it, if there's a green bead, the next one, the top of it had something gold, so that it wasn't too matchy and had kind of a mix of things. So I have finished up, y'all, I'm trying to straighten out my loop there. I was trying to keep in mind how those jump rings would hang off of the pendant there, the ring that we made, and how I wanted that to face, especially with that enamel chain, because I wanted it to lay flat. So for this next one, I have taken one of the ball end head pins, and I am immediately going to make a wrap loop. But before I wrap that loop, I will slip it on to that little link from the chain reaction and close my loop. This angle was super easy. This is all this one was. Simple. And I kept these varying lengths. Now, this means that they're with these dangles, because I did 4 dangles, there's not like a central one. If I had done it where there were like 5 or 3 dangles, the center one definitely would have made my longest one. But in this one, I kind of just varied the lengths of it to keep it kind of fun. Now, the separation for all of these makes it super great. When you've got the beads between them, so these hang really neatly. They don't clump together like they would if you have just a ring that you're hanging dangles from, which is why I like this design so much, is because you can get that separation on it. So that was, what was that? I think that was another, oh no, I used an eye pin there, and that's what I used to connect that charm to the gold bead, and then I'll use an eye pin above that on that green cube bead. Yeah. So I'm not putting the jump rings on this yet. You will see how that comes together here in just a second. But I wanted to explain to y'all some of the thinking. I know I just kind of played the music through as I was designing in my design process. I didn't think, I'd rather have y'all watch me move those things around, because at the time I couldn't talk through my thinking as I was doing it, and it's too hard for me now to like watch it and be like, and then I thought, you know what I mean? Like to go back and know exactly what you were thinking at that moment in time. So I thought I'd explain that. So I finished that one with another wrap loop, and then I've got these 2 little green beads, and I'll pull out another one of these ball end head pins, and I'm going to explain what happens with this one in a little bit. What I do here is not going to be how this one ends up, at least, yeah. See, I'll stop here for a second and think about this, and I decide, because I'm putting those 2 same beads together, that it would be really neat to have it look kind of like a rosary chain. So I'm going to put a simple loop there, but that's going to change in a little bit. So, and I'll explain that in a minute when I get to the to the portion here where I'm gonna finish all of these things up. I do want to apologize for the length of this video. I know it's a long one from me, but I really thought it would be fun for y'all to see kind of my design process and hear what I was thinking about when I did this and my reasoning behind a lot of the decisions I made in this. All right, so I am putting on that second one. I am going to do a wrapped loop on it and attach it to that open link of that chain reaction there. And then I will make a wrapped loop here. And once that is trimmed and tucked, that will be all of my little dangles for this. So can you see how this is gonna lay out with the separation between them? So I'm gonna stop and look at this for just a second and decide that I'm really liking it. I'm gonna pull out the jump rings that I think I need to hang these.
All right, now that I have all of those assembled, I'm going to go ahead and start sliding them on. So we can move apart our beads here and just slip on a jump ring. Well, maybe. Slip on a jump ring and then slip on our little dangle. And then we will close our jump ring and go to the next section. This will get a little fiddly, but it is fairly easy. So we do jump ring and trying to make sure these are going on the right way. It's hard to do from this direction. I just want to have them all like the ones that need to be facing forward, and it's just really this one is the main one, so I don't guess it matters because then you can just decide what is front and back. All right, slide that one up, grab a jump ring, slip it on your ring, slip on. This one's gonna be a little hard, I think, because the holes in that, there we go, that chain reaction are so precise. All right, and then our last one, slip that over and we will grab, yeah, that's what I was afraid. When I made that, I'm not great with simple loops, y'all, and well, I'm okay with simple loops, but the head pins I'm using are really fine, so I'm going to, I think, make a wrapped loop for that one. We're going to take a look at it real quick and then fix that. All right, yeah, oh, that's so precious. I love it so much. All right, we are going to, I'm trying to make sure it's not this loop that's the problem real quick. I don't see how it could be. Yeah, it's got to be that. So I'm gonna just fix that. That's one of those things when you make jewelry, always make sure that you kind of test it. I mean, if you've got to wear it, go for it, because then you know it's secure and things hang right and all of that. All right, let me get another one of these ball end head pins, slip this on here and quickly make a wrapped loop. They are my jam. These ball end head pins, I'm not sure where I got them from. They are not Jesse James beads. They are something else I picked up somewhere else. And while I like them, they are fairly like thin, and so they really do work best with a good wrapped loop. And I thought I would try to do a simple loop just to kind of give it that like rosary chain feel there. But yeah, that's not gonna work for this. All right, that will be like this. Slide everything down, take a look at it, and that is our pendant. Now we could be done here. I am seeing a few things I'm not happy about. All right, that was just a piece of wire sticking up. So this is a beautifully fun little ringed pendant. Now you could do this and just grab a ring and hang some charms off of it like this, and then just have a pendant. But I think what I am going to do, just for a little extra oomph, is I'm going to take a piece of that 22 gauge wire here. Cut that, and I'm going to make a connector up here with the last of these green and white beads from that Saint Green mix. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make this a double loop because these holes are a little bit larger. So I'm going to bend that, pull it up, wrap it around, and I'm going to go ahead so I don't forget and just slip it onto our wire here. Start our wrapped loop. Like so. Slip on a bead. I'm going to do it the other way. There. And then make a wrapped loop on the other side. Bend, go up and around. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make that bigger, up and around. Nice big loop. And then we're going to take this and wrap. We're going to wrap down to our bead. Y'all, this pendant, I'm loving the way it's feeling and moving right now as I'm trying to do this. It's kind of awesome with all those dangles. All right, got kind of a messy wrap there. Get it around to the back a little bit, and then I'm going to trim it. And with that tail on the bottom one, first we're going to tuck this up and find the end. Straighten that out. Nice, nice, nice. All right, and then wrap that bottom one back up. This is, you can do that before you put your bead on if that's easier for you, but this is a way I found that's easier for me so that things don't get too wacky. All right, and then I will tuck that if I can find it. We go. All right, so now all I really need to do is grab a chain. So let me go find a chain that'll work with this. So I have got a piece of chain. I have not cut it yet, and I've decided I want to turn my loop. So I just twisted it so that my chain can run straight through it. And we're just going to make this bead strung ring our focal. Let's see, how long do I want to get that? Alright, so we're going to say about this long. So I am just going to nip this like so. And no, I did not measure that the way I often measure things, is to just put them around my neck. And if it feels right to me and it has the length that I want, then I go for it. So once that is on there, I am going to take a small jump ring and a lobster clasp, if I can get it out, and then another one of the jump rings. They're about the same size that we just used. All right, and so one side, and I'm trying to see which is my left hand side and my right hand side. So this is my right hand side. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to put the clasp with its jump ring on that side and close it. And I'm going to the larger jump ring, put it on the other side and close it. And then that will be it. Easy peasy. This, I think this design is so much fun because you can mix and match. You don't have to have a bunch of the same thing. Even in the center there, you can put just a jumble of whatever beads are appealing to you and go for it. All right, so there is a necklace for the oh, I've got that backwards now. For the put a ring on it. Week 12, Jessie James Bead Summer Bead Blast. Let me go ahead and tell you what week 13 is. Let me see if I can find it. Week 13 is going to be Y design. So create a Y design necklace or bracelet. It could be a lariat style, an adjustable bracelet with a bit of a tail, a dangling pendant, anything else that's got like a Y style design. Just think on that. So that's what week 13 is. Of course, you still have a few more days, quite a few more days of the week 12 put a ring on it design, and I am looking forward to seeing what you use. Make sure you use the hashtag JJB Summer Bead Blast. Check out the Jessie James Beads website, Facebook, and Instagram. I will have all of those links below, along with the links to some of these mixes and things that I can link up for you. So, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks for sitting through this with me and watching me design and make this ringed pendant. I will see y'all later. Bye.